So this video is going to focus on the Knit 3 pass, which is used in the open star stitch. I've got a swatch here of what it looks like once it's all blocked out. This is just a multiple of 3 stitches, and I've worked it on a worsted weight yarn. As you can see, it opens up really nicely once it's blocked. So this is a fabric that is knitted on the right side and the wrong side, which is pretty amazing when you look at this construction of it. And I'm just going to show you how to work, well, all 4 rows of the pattern, but more specifically, I'm going to show you how to work the K3 pass, which is essentially knitting 3 stitches and then picking up the first of the 3 stitches and passing it over. That's the basis of the open star stitch fabric. Here is a sample of the work before it's blocked. You can see it's a much tighter fabric, but when you pull it out, it really opens up the stitch work. So I've knit across the front. All the right sides of the open star stitch pattern are just knit. I've got the 4 rows of the pattern in the instructions below this video, so you can follow along as we go. So I have knit across the front of the work, and now we're going to turn the work to start working the K3 pass. So as I mentioned earlier, the stitch pattern is a multiple of 3 stitches, and 3 of those stitches are, I guess they'd be kind of like selvage edge stitches. They are not part of the pattern. So to start the first wrong side row, we're going to knit 2 stitches. And now we're going to begin the K3 pass. So we begin with a yarn over, and then we knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And I really recommend having pointy needles to be able to do this, because now we have to reach over and pick up the first of the 3 stitches that we just knit and pass it over 2. So that's why we create a yarn over before we start that 3-stitch knit, so that we have an additional stitch to make up for the one that we just passed over. So one more time, we're going to work a yarn over. We're going to knit 3 stitches. And then we're going to reach past the first 2 on our needle to that 3rd stitch, which is the first one of the 3 that we knit, and we're going to pick it up and pass it over the work. We're going to pick up that first of the 3 stitches we knit and pass it over. So I'm going to knit to the end of the row and back across the right side one more time and show you how to work the 4th row of the pattern. Okay, so I finished row 2, which worked on the wrong side of the fabric, and I've turned and I've worked across the right side. And if you look really carefully, you're going to be able to see these stitches here. And those are the stitches that we passed over on the previous working on the wrong side. That's our pass on the K3 pass. So now we need to turn our work so the wrong side is facing, and we're going to work row 4 of the pattern. And it's going to feel very similar to row 2. We simply work 1 selvage edge stitch at the beginning here, so we get this staggered mesh pattern. So I've knit 1, and now I'm going to work the K3 pass. So we're going to knit 1, 2, 3, and we're going to reach past those first 2 stitches, pick up the first stitch we knit and pass it over. And then we're going to work the yarn over after we work the K3 pass, which is the opposite of what we did the first time. And the reason I'm showing you this, not because the stitches are really any different, but more so that you can see whether you're on track in the pattern. So when you come up to work your K3 pass, you want to make sure that your center stitch is directly above the previous yarn over in the row below. So we've got our first knit stitch. Our second knit stitch in the K3 pass is directly over the yarn over from the row below. And then our third stitch is just to the left of it. Now we reach our needle all the way to the third stitch, pick it up, and pass it over as if you're working a pass slip stitch. And that's it. That's as complicated as the stitch gets. As I mentioned before, this pattern is worked in multiples of 3, and it's all knit. There's no purls, which is really nice. So your fabric's gonna lie really flat. If you're someone who makes dishcloths, I think this would be a really cute pattern for a dishcloth. And now that I've said that, I'm probably gonna have to make one for my dad. I also think it would make a really great textural element, say on the sleeve of a sweater or even a pocket of a sweater. Albeit I suppose as a pocket it wouldn't really hold your stuff, but a really easy pattern to get the hang of. The biggest trick is remembering to pick up that first knit stitch and passing it over. So make sure you've got nice pointy needles, and yeah, that's about it. That's as challenging as this stitch gets. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you use this stitch pattern in my Sycamore Star shawl, and I hope you love it. Gonna get to the end of the row. Here we go. There we go. All right, so there's the open star stitch pattern, and thanks for coming by. Happy knitting.